Okay, so the question is, what is the meaning of your name? And that's a fun one because my last name actually does not mean the same thing in modern Irish as it meant when it was coined. But within Irish mythology, there's a number of races that kind of did different things around Ireland, and one of them is called the Fomors. And at certain stages in the history, in kind of the mythological cycle, the Fomors' home is listed as a place called Lochlan, and Lochlan was an underworld type of place that sat under the ocean north of Ireland. And so this was kind of the home for the Fomors, which were very powerful, not quite gods, but kind of proto gods. They served, I guess, if you have to compare it to a different mythology, they're not unlike the Titans in terms of their relationship to the gods and how they came about, but they are unlike the Titans in almost every way. The point is that they're powerful spiritual beings that inhabited Ireland for a time and were overthrown by the gods and ended up having to move off of the island to some degree. And so they ended up kind of living in Lochlan. And I think some myths kind of describe Lochlan as being their original home as well. I don't really remember how all that worked out. But the point is that it was an underworld filled with these entities that were malicious and very powerful and lived in this underworld north of Ireland. So, when the Vikings started showing up and they were being kind of a terror to everybody, the thing that people noticed was that they sailed from the north. They would arrive on the northern shores, sailing from the northern waters. And so they got referred to as being from Lochlan. People would associate them with Lochlan. And so that's kind of the terminology that got used for them. And because of that, Lochlan is now the modern Irish word for Scandinavia, because Lochlan is the place where the Norse come from. The Norse come from these lands over here, therefore those lands over there are now called Lochlan. The name has drifted geographically, but at the time when my last name was coined, that was what it meant, was this underworld north of Ireland. So you had this king of Islay who marries this Norse princess. They have a kid. They give the kid a name that reflects his heritage, essentially meaning descended from the people of Lochlan. And then his grandson takes on that name as a surname, but adds Mac in front of it. So now you have son of the descendant of the people of Lochlan. And that's kind of what that means. And it's quite a mouthful. And so because of the nature of Lochlan, I jokingly say that my last name means descendant of hell or son of hell, which is not 100% accurate, but no translation ever is. And it really is close enough to be faithful to the point and also to be funny. So what's fun about that is that if you take my name and you put my last name, comma, first name, middle name, as I do in a lot of government documents and gym class and stuff like that. If you do it that way, I tell people my name is my testimony, because what it actually means when you put it in that order is a descendant of hell honoring God the King. And I just love that about the whole situation. And it was all accidental. That just happened to, I'm a junior, that just happened to be my dad's name, and that was what they gave me. But they didn't really think about it in that way.